Hey, Steph.
Hello.
Welcome back to another episode of Bariatric Banter podcast.
We are back.
We are back after a much needed rest and recovery and vacation. We are finally back with episode 22, I think.
Oh my gosh.
I know we had a little bit of a brief hiatus because life was lifing. As you guys saw on our Instagram, we both had big vacations coming up, and then there was just a lot going on with work. And I started
Really
a
tough.
new job, and oh my goodness,
It's
just a million things.
yeah. There's so much going on between
So
work
much.
and vacations and kids' sports
Oh,
and that fun stuff.
So this is episode 22. We did do a special matinee episode, but I'm not going to count it, where we talked about comfort food. And Steph did a really great live. And I actually think we're going to try to do some more of those, not in place of the podcast,
There's
but just
extra.
in general. Just be live and be chatting on Instagram and answering some great questions and just, yeah, having some great conversations.
I love it. I love it.
I
I
love
think
it.
it's a good idea. So if you have topics, let us know. If you
Yeah,
want us to do
please
something
send.
live, shoot it our way and we will make a list.
We will. We've got a list already going, but we'll add more to said list.
Yep.
But no, thanks everybody. You were super supportive of our vacation and our time off. And oh my goodness, the comments and the messages. And yeah, just we loved seeing all of it and the support and the love. And so we decided we actually are going to do a whole episode on vacation. Now, we're not here to be like, let's brag about what we got to do. But we were both talking during our entire vacations about not having a scale and oh, I ate and fell off the wagon and I don't know if I'm going to exercise. Like we between Steph and I had so much to talk about
It
our
was fun.
vacations that I was like, "Hey, maybe we should, maybe we should chat
Mhm.
about."
It was very different. It was a very different experience. Um, and we had a lot of, I'm not gonna like concerns, but like you said, like a lot of things popped up like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna have this. I'm not gonna have this. This is gonna be different. How am I gonna manage this? It was just a very different experience in a positive way, at least for me at the end of the day. But it was just a different mindset for this vacation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think, as I said, in a positive way, um, and just how your entire vacation centers around different things and your thought processes are different. And I think even though for me at least, and I know like you have been out east before, this wasn't like we were going to somewhere new for either of us, but it felt like a very different experience all around.
It was different. And so, like, yes, I've been out east before. I actually did go to Nova Scotia like 4 months after surgery because it was my aunt's birthday. And I was like, fuck it, we'll be fine. And I remember being there and I was living on tuna. She was like, "What can I make you and what can I buy?" And I was like, "Don't buy anything." And she's like, "No." It's a very East Coast thing to be like,
Yeah.
"Don't be foolish. I'm going to buy you things." And I was like, "I'm going to be very honest with you. I will be eating nothing." And so I remember going to Sobeys and being like, "I'll have 18 cans of tuna.
Yeah.
Thank you." And a bunch of dill pickles and
There you
people
go.
laughing. And I was like, "Oh, and cheese. Like, just make sure there's cut up cheese because I'm not going to eat enough, but I'm going to be hungry every hour." And I just like that trip was so funny when I look back
Just
on
like
it now. And I'm
quarter
like, holy shit, I just ate fucking cubed
of
cheese and
cheese.
tuna for
I
a
mean, it
week.
sounds great. Cheese is great. Let's be
And then
honest.
like protein shakes, like Premier Protein, drinking it like it
Yep.
was water. But I felt great and it was awesome. But it was a very different trip. Like that one
Yes.
was 4 days, very quick, shopping, home, and away we go.
Yep.
This time, this time I drove to Nova Scotia because I
Mhm.
had the dog to take. I
Mhm.
won't say his name because he'll wake up and come running over here. But I had to take him with me. I didn't have to, but I wanted him to see the ocean and blah, blah, blah. So my best friend and I loaded up the car and it was 3 days to get there and 3 days to get home. So it
Yeah.
was like over 2,200 miles a day that I
Jeez.
was driving. That I drove total. So yeah, from here to Ottawa, from Ottawa to New Brunswick, New Brunswick to the cottage in Nova Scotia. So that was different because I have not done a road trip of that magnitude yet.
That's a
And
big one.
then yeah, and then I was on my own also. So I was at the
Right.
cottage. I could buy groceries. I could do different
Yeah.
things. I'm 2 years post-op.
Yep.
It's not a cruise ship where I could just like go and get something created. So there were interesting challenges, and I will say
Mhm.
like some very bad habits that I am remedying, but
But
on
it's
both
also
sides.
vacation. It's
It
also
is.
vacation, right? Like, you do have to we've talked about this before, like, we still have to enjoy your life and do fun things and not be super hard on yourself all the time. And I think the important thing is, like, when we talked after vacation was you said, like, "I know I had this, I had this, I had this, but the difference now is you can say it, you can own it, and you can move on from it. You're not gonna sit there and beat yourself up about it. You're not gonna dwell about it. You're not gonna now say, "Okay, well, for the next day, I'm not gonna eat anything because I blew my week yesterday." It's just as as our friend Denise says, "Bless and release and move on." And I think that's a big thing too is your whole mindset has shifted now when you look at things like that. And it's okay to have some of this and to have fun and to enjoy your vacation, but then the fact that you can easily get back on track compared to before, I think is an important thing.
Yes. And that's the thing, like, were the bad habits necessarily what I ate? No, like, there was some
Yeah.
of that. But some
Yeah,
other bad habits were also just that I wasn't eating enough. So there were definitely
right.
days where I was like, "Ah, whatever, I'm so swept up in vacation or what's going on," and then it's like, "Oh,
Distracted.
you can't be going that long without having something."
Mhm.
So I think the driving were the worst cases of
Yeah.
that, where, like, you're just in the zone, "Let's
You don't wanna
go."
stop and get
Yeah,
distracted. You just wanna push through and plow through.
and then by the time you get there, you're like, "Uh-oh, I'm not feeling great."
Mistakes were made.
Yeah, and it's like, I probably should have had something to eat. This is not great. So
Mhm.
on the way home, it very much was like, I don't give a fuck. Just eat what you want to eat, and we'll fix this when we get home. But no more of this just like white knuckling it, driving and not eating anything. So you can't live on caffeine and nothing.
No. Nope.
So that was like, and I did pack a whole cooler that I barely touched too. So I think that's the other thing is you're definitely gonna overpack and over
Oh
prepare for
gosh.
these trips,
I
and then you're gonna
certainly
end up
did.
getting there and not needing any of that.
Even for so we had a 4-hour airplane ride, and I packed for the kids. I bought actually, they were so handy. I hate the term, but I think people call them, like, snackle boxes. I bought these, like, divided snack containers for each girl on the trip, and then I bought a 3rd one for, like, me and Devin, basically, and I packed theirs, and I packed some for myself, and I made sure that, like, in my knapsack, I had edamame beans, and I had protein bars, and I had all the things. Definitely packed too much. I think I was trying to be, like, overly prepared and then realizing once I got on the plane, being like, "Steph, it's 4 hours. You only eat every 2 hours anyway. Like, you don't need this, you're gonna be fine." The girls plowed through their snacks, which is totally cool. But even when we would go and do our adventures for the day, like, we would go do our hikes and go do our sightseeing and stuff, always made sure that in my bag I had the protein bars, the edamame beans. Devin always packed, like, some pepperoni sticks and some cheese, and just always made sure that we had protein-heavy snacks with us and water. We each had a big water bottle,
Yeah.
but I think that was key, and I'm like, in the past, I wouldn't have packed that. It would have been like, "Oh, we'll just stop and get something. Oh, we'll just go to a restaurant, or we'll just go here." So that was a big shift for us, was packing our own food, making sure we had healthy options with us, and not always focusing everything around what restaurant are we going to go to, which was a big shift.
Exactly, and I think that was the different thing too, and I did tell my friend, "Hey, if there's places you wanna go eat, we can, but, like, the name of this vacation is sit at the cottage and do nothing." And,
To
like, we'll just
relax.
we'll just buy food, and if we eat it, we eat it, and
Yeah.
that's the other thing about, like, where I was specifically, there was no delivery. So, I was in a very rural part of Nova Scotia, and if you wanted anything, it was a 32-minute drive one way to get into town. So, an hour if you want anything. So that also kinda makes you reframe
Mhm.
from, like, "I don't need it, don't want it, don't need to have it, this is crap."
It's like
So
my everyday where I live. We have to we have to go half an hour to get anywhere.
which like, yeah, that made me
I love
realize
it.
how much I love living in a city. But yeah, that was something to lean into where I was like, "We will need to go grocery shopping because like, I can't
Yeah.
I'm not gonna live on frozen food." There was a little gas station, like, convenience store, LBR, which was great, by the way. I love that they have that for people camping and cottaging,
Mhm.
but they only had frozen food. So we did go there the first day because, like, we had just white knuckled it in. I was starving, and I was like, "If we don't get real food,
Mm.
I am going to lose it
Angry
or
hand is
pack
gonna
out."
come out.
One of the 2. And so we got there, and I was like, "Oh, so I can't eat any of this." And she was like, "Oh," my friend's like, "Oh," and I was like, "This is frozen mozzarella sticks, frozen pizza, like, just
Yeah.
frozen stuff that." I was like, "Oh, whatever, I'll just do it," and then I was like, "600 calories for a slice of frozen pizza." I was like, "I can't fucking do this." So, we ended up there's a food truck that actually opened, and it's getting a ton of awards and
Nice,
praise, and they had real food, so I got some fish and chips, which was
nice.
awesome, like, East Coast, real local fish and chips, which was great, but I said, "We have to go to a grocery store tomorrow, like, I'm gonna need to get stuff."
Mhm.
So, I picked up yogurt, bread, eggs, deli meat, like, I got a bunch of stuff, things that I could bake and make in the oven, like, just a bunch of stuff for the week. Because I was like, "I don't know if we're eating at relatives' houses or if we're going out while we're in town or what's
Yep,
happening, but I
for sure.
gotta have food that's not junk food." And then there was junk food, like, we are on
Of course, you're
vacation,
on vacation.
so, there was Smart Pop, right? Like, they're my favorite popcorn, can't help it,
Happen.
um, 'cause, like, we were gonna want it, and then cinnamon buns. I got a real thing with cinnamon buns, I can't explain it, but I fucking love them, and I had to have them. So, there
But it's
were
right? And it's
yes,
vacation, and, like, we
it's
did the same
vacation.
when we landed in Calgary, we hit up the zoo to let the girls run around for a bit, they'd just been on the plane for a long time, and then as soon as we got into town, we went grocery shopping. And same thing because we stay in an Airbnb when we go there, so we have a full kitchen, fridge, the whole bit. So we went grocery shopping. We grabbed all of the necessities because we knew we would go out here and there, and we knew like we were there for my birthday and my daughter's birthday. So we knew there'd be a birthday dinner out, and of course you're going to hit up some things, but we wanted to have as many options as we could for healthier food. It's also cheaper than going out constantly. And we knew that in the past, when just Devin and I had gone, our trip revolved very much around restaurants, patio hopping, breweries. That was the big focus of our trip was, yeah, we're gonna go see the mountains, but we're gonna sit on patios and look at the mountains, and we're gonna go to this happy hour for tacos and all of that kind of stuff. Whereas this time, we knew we were gonna be spending more of our time out and about and hiking and in the mountains and sightseeing. So when you're doing a 2-hour hike, you're not stopping on a patio. So we had to also have our
Ding,
bag
ding.
full of food, right? So it was a whole different trip. And it was funny because we had been out there twice before and had not experienced nearly anything other than the downtown. We did, like,
Yeah.
we went up the gondola, whatever, but this time we were, like, in nature, in the mountains, experiencing things totally differently than last time, and it made for a totally different trip, even though it was to the same location that we had been twice before. It was as if we had never been, and it was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's, like that's exciting, though. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Whole
very,
new
very cool.
opportunities, right?
It's very cool to be able to kind of, yeah, see this, see what it's like.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and, like, so that's the same with me is well, okay, this was different in a different way. So, I had all these big plans, and I was actually gonna run a race.
Yeah.
Oh my god. This is like Hannah from December was a fucking lunatic. So I had all these plans that I was gonna run this big race because it was in my hometown, and how cool is that? But here's the thing, the wedding was Saturday and the race was Sunday. So, like, my goal was I'm gonna drive from the cottage to Halifax, go hang out and do the whole wedding thing, leave the wedding around 8:39, drive back to Halifax, sleep, get up in the morning, and go run this, like, 8 a.m. race, and, like, then hit the road and start driving home after. And it's totally gonna be fine. Hannah that got to Nova Scotia was immediately like, "Fuck that shit." So
Right.
before we left, I
Why
realized
did I think this was a good idea?
right? I was like, "Oh, so it's like a 2-hour drive from the cottage to Halifax. Cool, if traffic's good."
Mhm.
Which is gonna be like the very end of your vacation where you've already driven 3 days to get there, and
Right?
then you have to go to a wedding, and you're not gonna leave the wedding on time because you're gonna be having a good time, and then you have to leave the wedding and drive 2 hours home
Sure.
and then sleep and then get up and drive 35 minutes into town to go run a race the next morning. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, "Oh, I'm not doing
Why?
this."
Why did I think this was a good
This is
idea?
not it's
No.
not happening, and so this vacation was a bit different because I had all these big, giant, grandiose plans that this is what
Yep.
I was gonna do, and I was gonna do this, and I was gonna do that, and I was gonna do blah, 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 and then I realized, like, "Oh, you know what I really genuinely need to do? Nothing."
Just
Like,
chill.
I need to relax.
Yep.
So, because I think there's this notion of being a bariatric patient where it's like, I have to do all of this
Everything.
running around. I have to, yeah, I have to do all of this. I have to be active. Here we go, or people are going to judge me. And this vacation made me kind of sit down and go,
No, I don't.
no, I actually don't.
No.
I actually don't need to. I can just relax. And
Yeah.
there's nothing better than being able to be like, "Oh, so I did walk, like, I walked the dog, I went to the beach, I had a good time, but I in no way needed to be racing back and forth and running and doing a
No.
million things." And for the first time, I think in a really long time, I had an actual vacation where I did nothing because I think even when I was obese, I
Mhm.
was like, "Well, I have to be doing something. I can't just be sitting here, and there's nothing I can do except go shopping or go into town." Like, I don't wanna go swimming, and I don't wanna go hiking,
Right.
and it felt almost like I was limited in what I could do versus
Okay.
I made the conscious choice to be like, "Nah, man, let's sit on the porch and play fucking cribbage for, like, 6 hours, let's just play cribbage."
And if
Like,
that's what
it
you want,
was
be it.
so great,
Yeah.
and I did some thrifting and some shopping, and it was kind of really cool to be buying clothes, and, um, I I did a big non-scale victory this vacation, which I think was, like, giving me anxiety leading up to it, but because there was definitely a point where I was like, "I'm too tired, I'm gonna take a nap and just I'll fall asleep and miss the wedding," and my friend's like, "Hey,
Nope.
shut the fuck up, like, you're going," and I was like, "Ah, it's just, like, my hair doesn't look good and the dress is bad," and she's like, "Hey, so you're just freaking out about having your arms out?" And I was like,
Yep.
"Yes,
Yep.
100%." So, but yeah, there was a moment where I was like, "I can't do this." But I put the fucking dress on, and now I did have a jacket because the ceremony was outside, and
That's
I
fair.
needed a jacket because it was on the water and Nova Scotia's cold,
Yeah,
but then
that's
I
fair.
took the jacket off, and I had a sleeveless dress on, and my arms were out, and I didn't care, and I didn't think about it once. I didn't think about them once I got
Isn't that
there.
so just,
Um,
like I can't
so
even think
crazy.
yeah, but well, I can't even think of the word just so freeing. Like,
It's
it's so freeing to just
not
not
care.
care and to not have that thought constantly in your head. You'd have
Like
to
to
sit there and the whole time be thinking, oh my god, my arms, my arms, my arms. Who's looking? Who sees this? What is going on? Are they like to just be able to sit back and not care and not worry about it and not have it eating in the back of your brain is so freeing and something that not gonna say most people, but a lot of people, that's just normal for them because they just put on their shorts and they put on their tank tops and they go outside and that's just the way it is.
yeah, and that's the thing, like,
That like
I know, what's it like to just not care? And, like,
that
I
like
will say um, there were definitely moments on the trip where I basically let my eating kinda dictate how I was feeling in the sense that I felt very guilty that on the drive we had chips,
yeah,
or I maybe had, like, fast food because it was the only thing we could get.
right.
Or at one point, I was like, "Oh, you know what I super want? I want a fucking chocolate bar. Like, I'm hungry, I need sugar, let's go." And so we split a
Yeah,
chocolate bar, and
yeah,
so then I started to say things like, "Oh boy, yeah, I need to not be eating stuff like this. Like I'm getting I can feel that I'm gaining weight. I can feel I'm getting fat. I can feel that I'm
mhm,
getting, I'm not working out. I didn't work out before I left. Like I can just," and my friend was like, "Please shut the actual fuck up." And I was like, "No, like this is so terrible. How dare I? What am I thinking? What's going on?" And I got home and I weighed myself and I was like, "Here we go. You have 2
yep.
pounds.
Ooh,
That's it. 2
nothing.
pounds. 2 pounds.
Big book.
That's it."
Yeah.
And, like, I had poutine now, okay, when I say I've had these things, like, please keep in mind, like, I am a bariatric patient, so when I say
You
I had a
didn't flush a
poutine,
hole.
I
Yeah,
had 2 bites of a poutine. When I
yeah,
say that we had fast food, we went to Wendy's because we literally got into Halifax 45 minutes before the wedding, we were so late, and I was like, "I actually need to eat because I haven't eaten all fucking day
yeah,
before I get to this fucking wedding or I'm gonna, like, pass out," and Wendy's was the only thing at this
yeah,
hotel, so, yeah, I got the spicy chicken sandwich and french fries, I just ordered a combo and my friend got a combo, and I had 3 french fries because I remember so clearly, like, running around with my dress on, trying to get my hair ready, 3 french fries, and I had 2 bites of the sandwich, and that was it, and she's like, "Oh, you want me to save that for later?" And I was like, "Oh, no, man, I'm fucking stuffed, like, I won't be eating that, like, I'm done." She was like, "Why did you buy this?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm
yeah.
well over the fact that I will buy food and
Oh, yeah.
100% never finish
That's
it.
no, that's a norm.
Never."
Yeah.
So when I say, did I eat these things? It's not like I ate a whole bag of chips or I ate a whole chocolate bar, I ate a whole fucking burger and french fry combo.
Yeah.
I had bites of things. So yes, I had lobster, I had poutine, I did have smart food, I had chips. Yes, we had cinnamon buns. None of it was finished and none of it was like, oh, I binged on a box of cinnamon buns, but I still felt, oh my god, I'm getting so fat. How dare, like, people are gonna see it. They're gonna
It's
think,
the
"Oh my
old
god."
mindset
And I
slipping.
kept thinking, like, you can see it in my face. My face is fat. Like, oh,
Realize
it was just,
it's all the old
I
mindset
hated
of
it.
beating yourself up over things, not giving
Yes.
yourself that grace, not allowing yourself to enjoy little bits of things in moderation, because previously, that's the thing, right? We would have bought the box of cinnamon buns and we would have crushed the box of cinnamon buns. Whereas now, we can have a couple bites and put it away, or we can have them sitting on the counter and have a cinnamon bun today and then not have one tomorrow. And there's people who are still working on that, and that's fine. And if you're not at that point yet, then that's fine. But the important thing is acknowledging if and when you're at that point. And that's, I think, part of this journey and all of the work that goes into this journey, and to be able to be at that point now and be able to know that you can handle that. And I think that's it ties back to, like we always say, where people are like, "Oh, you took the easy way out." It just goes to show how much work and effort goes into this entire process. Where same thing, like we went out for dinner for the birthdays and I had tacos, and it came in like a set of 3 tacos. And it was funny because they put them down and both my kids are like, "You're not gonna be able to eat that." And I started laughing and I said, "I don't know, guys, like, I'm pretty hungry today." And both of them were like, "Nope, you can't eat 3 tacos. You can't eat 3 tacos." And so I made it through 2 and I was like, "Yeah, I'm out. I can't. Like, I'm done." Um, but before, I would have been so full, but there would have been a 3rd taco on my plate. So you can bet I would be eating that 3rd taco. I'd feel like crap, and I would know I shouldn't have it, and I would already be super full, but I
Mhm.
would feel as though I had to finish that food on my plate. Whereas now it's, "Nope, I know I'm full. I know if I have another bite, it's gonna put me over the edge and I'm gonna feel like crap." So I gave my tacos away. Um, so it's just knowing seeing the progress that you've made and how you've transitioned, I think is really important, but it's also really cool, and it's another one of those non-scale victories where you can have that food in front of you and not scarf it all down, or you can say, "I'm done," when there's still food on your plate and give it away, or get rid of it and not feel guilty or feel like you have to finish it because it's in front of you. That's definitely a new thing for me, and definitely something that was not there in the past, for sure.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, there will be times you just can eat more and it happens and it's fine, and
Yeah,
I think the mental strife I gave myself on this vacation is absurd. Like, the fact
yeah,
that I was like, "My clothes don't fit as well," and I can feel it, and it's like, "You can
2
feel 2
pounds.
pounds? You can feel 2 fucking pounds. Are you kidding me?" Because I was convinced I was gonna come home and I had gained at least 10 pounds or more. I was convinced.
Yeah.
Um, and 2 pounds can be chalked up to anything,
Looks
and
like
I'd like
it's
to point
water
out,
weight.
yeah,
That's
I've
water weight from or, like, just inflammation
bloating.
from
Yeah.
sitting in the car for so long.
We are having a heat wave, inflammation, like loose
Mhm.
skin, like it could be anything. And I'd
Yeah,
like to point out I didn't weigh myself like the day I got home. Like, I weighed myself this week and I was like, wow,
2
2
big pounds.
pounds. And like I normally fluctuate 2 to 3 pounds, like sometimes 4. There was a day where I was like, what the fuck? I think I messaged you. I was like, what the fuck? The scale said I was up 4 pounds. And then
Yeah,
this morning I'm down 6. I was like, I
right?
think my scale's
I think
fucking
I smell my
broken.
nutrition.
Oh, that was insane. I will also point out and, like, buckle up, folks, we're gonna get real friendly here. I did not have the best, like, digestive health on this trip, as in, like, it
Huge.
wasn't
Oh gosh.
working. It
Makes
just
a huge
wasn't
difference.
working.
Makes a
Yeah,
huge difference.
huge difference. So I was like, "Okay, well," because I even said to my friend, like, "If I don't poop on this trip, I'm gonna be like, one of these days I gotta poop, man, like, what's going on?" Because my eating was off. I actually realized I was not even eating enough.
Yeah.
Um,
Your fiber's
and
off, your hydration's probably off, your body
way,
your
way
inflammation,
off. So,
all the
I was
things.
like, "Oh, cool." So, yeah, I gave myself all this shit and then realized it was great. Road trips are hard. I don't know if I really have it in me to do another road trip because you also
Alone.
just aren't in the mood to eat. So, I think that's the other thing is, like, yes, I know I need to eat. Yes, I know I need my protein and water, but, like, I'm tired and I don't care. I just want to drive and get wherever the fuck we need to get to. My dad is the same way. I've definitely inherited this from him, but I think road trips are really tough on bariatric.
Especially when you're by yourself. If you don't have somebody with you who's checking in with you and who you're keeping each other accountable, and you don't have somebody to say, "Hey, here's a protein bar, eat this.
Yeah.
Hey, here's your protein shake, let's go."
Yeah.
Um, then it's no different than, like, when you have a super busy day and all of a sudden you look down and you go, "Oh my gosh, it's almost lunchtime and I've had nothing." Um, that ha that happened to me today. I slept in a little bit. I gave myself a rest day today. I slept in a little bit. I got up, so I was behind with the morning routine and the girls and everything. And then work was busier today than expected. And all of a sudden, I looked at my phone and it was almost 11 and I had eaten nothing yet. And I was like, Steph, like, not cool. And then caught myself again turning back to my computer a couple minutes later and being like, "No, like, you have stop. You have to walk away and eat something." So when you're plowing through a road trip and you're concentrating on getting there and driving and all of that stuff, if you don't have somebody with you to keep you on track, then for sure, it's a very difficult situation to be in. Um, I was lucky when we were on the plane that, like, I had Devin and the girls with me, and they were constantly eating, so I was constantly being reminded, um, but I could just sit there, I didn't have to worry about anything, I could just sit back, watch my movie, have my protein bar, or whatever it may be. Um, I think the hardest part was probably at the airport, waiting for the planes when it's a lot of, like, junk crap food at the airport, on the end of the trip because we didn't wanna bring a whole bunch of stuff home with us, so we had a
Yeah.
friend in Canmore. We left all of our food with him and said, "Here, take it." So we were a little bit low on the way home, so that I did struggle in the airport on the way home with trying to find something, that I could eat. The other thing is post-surgery, I was talking to a friend of mine who had bypass a couple months ago, and I was saying, "I don't know if this is just a sleeve thing or a bypass thing, but we have talked about this. The ridiculous noises that come out of your stomach post-surgery." My stomach I say it talks. It gurgles so loud
Oh
that you can
god.
hear it across my house.
Oh, the noise.
Yeah, we'll be in the living room watching TV, and Devin can hear it from across the room with the TV on. So then, of course, I'm sitting there thinking, "Okay, well, what can I eat that I know is not gonna set my stomach off so that when I'm sitting on the plane beside these poor strangers, all they can hear is my stomach gurgling the entire flight?" Um, but it was just yeah, it was very, very different. The planning to get there was good, the planning there was good. Um, a little bit lacking on the planning coming home, but at that point too, like, didn't eat enough, just wanted to get home, just wanted to get into my bed. Um, but other than that, I think it was good for me. It was just interesting how the entire experience of the vacation was different and how I got to experience so much more of that place, even though I had already been there because my priorities were so shifted.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just a change, not in a it's not a bad change, it's a, welcome to your new life unique change, and you kinda nailed it about, like, if you don't have somebody there.
Yeah.
And I think it needs to be somebody bariatric because my friend is not a big eater either. And so it was really easy for both of us just to be like, "Meh, we good." And I think also like, will it kill you? No. Was I in my head a little bit about it and then panicked? Yeah, and that didn't help, right? Like, you kind of realize how little you had, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, am I gonna pass out? And it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 whoa. You're probably not gonna feel great, but you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Vitamins and minerals also went right the fuck out the window, which isn't great. This is a known problem for me. But like I just get wrapped up in
Yeah.
vacation and what I'm doing. And like even today, it's a very, very bad thing to say. I have forgotten to take my vitamins and it's 12.
Uh,
So I know I'm gonna take them, but like this happens where I'm like,
mhm.
be consistent. You have to stop getting so involved with work or travel. So
I forgot to take mine yesterday. You can yell at me, it's
oh,
fine.
it happens. It happens. It's fine. It's not a consistent thing that I let happen, but there are going to be days where you're like, but I want to get up and go do fun stuff. And oops, I forgot to take that giant pill container that's the size of a fucking horse with me. So that's the other thing is like, it just happens and things happen. But there were times where I was good as well. We were out at a grocery store and, oh, why don't we get this pasta bake? And I was like, I almost was like, sure, who cares? But then I was like, I'm going to be
Nope.
honest with you, like, I'm not going to eat that. I think honestly, I just wanna go get a salad. So I'd like you guys to go get your own, whatever you want.
Get what you
I
wanna do.
I
Yeah,
just wanna have a little salad. Like, all I'm kinda craving is a
yeah,
salad. I started buying sandwiches because I was like, "Guys, I really just want, like, chicken salad." Like, I just at a certain point, I really craved food. Like, I needed
yeah,
food, and that's been a big change and different for me. Like, in the ooh, I got hiccups. In the past when traveling, like, I'd be eating ice cream and pizza and
yeah.
takeout, and here we go, and I wouldn't give a shit. But, like, in the middle of this trip, I was like, "Oh my god, I just wanna make real
Well,
food." Like, I
and
just want grilled chicken.
your body wants different things, like, you will
Right?
find you crave protein now, and you crave different
Yes.
things, like, I will and we do this too, and tied to that, before I forget, is just because you're on vacation with other people doesn't mean that they need to adhere to your eating habits or your ways, right? Like, there is a really, really, really good bagel place in Canmore, and they make phenomenal bagels and cream cheese. And the girls really wanted to go there for breakfast. Well, that's cool. Devin doesn't eat breakfast. He usually does intermittent fasting. So that's fine. And I just wasn't in the mood to handle a bagel or to have a bagel. But we still went, right? The girls went, they got their bagels, they got their stuff. They had really good protein balls there. I got myself a protein ball and then went back to the Airbnb and the girls had their bagels. I had my protein ball and I forget what I had with it. So just because you're with other people doesn't mean they need to adhere to the way you're eating. But you will find you crave things now. Like I think it was on this trip. We did pretty good with our food, like I said, but I remember coming home and I was just craving a big salad and grilled chicken. Like, I just wanted chicken and vegetables. And even now, like, the family, Devin and the girls last night, they had tacos. It's not that I can't have tacos, but the particular ground beef we had last night was really fatty compared to what we normally get. And so I just said to Devin, I'm not gonna have it. And he's like, "Well, you can strain it out, Dad." I said, "You know what? No, I'm not gonna do it." Last time it didn't sit super well with me. So they had their tacos, and then I had a chicken quesadilla with my low carb, my protein wraps, and my chicken I had meal prepped in the fridge. And we still ate dinner together, but you don't have to always worry about other people adhering to what you're doing. It's not gonna ruin your vacation. It's a lot easier than you think it is to make it work or to find things that work. We had no issues on our trip making choices, even at restaurants, right? Like, they had their food, and I ordered off the appetizers. I ordered the three little tacos off the appetizer, and it was totally fine. So, you don't have to worry about that.
No, and that's yeah, my aunt was like, "Let's go out for lunch. I haven't seen you in a while." And I was like, "Okay, sure, yeah," because like, I can navigate restaurants much better now, and so I didn't even pick the restaurant, she picked it. I was like, "You tell me," she's like, "We're gonna meet here," and I was like, "Cool." Didn't even look up the menu ahead of time, I just said, "I will make it work," and, like, I did, and it was really great. Like, it was pretty easy to navigate that. So that has been a nice change on vacation where beforehand I'd have to pick everything. I'd have to research months in
Yeah.
advance. I'd have to know it. But now it's like, no, I'm good. Like I'm really good. I'll figure it out. And I actually said that a few times this trip, which was nice. No, I'm okay. I can have it. Like I can have a bit of that. Um, I really like hazelnut coffee lattes.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's one of the things, right? Like, well, we have hazelnut syrup at, my friend had hazelnut syrup
Yeah.
and, "Can you have it?" And I was immediately gonna be like, "Okay, let me look at the back and let me blah, 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 blah," and you know what I said? Like, "I can probably have a bit of that, that's fine." Because,
Wanna
like,
make
it is okay, and so I looked at it, and it was 13 grams of sugar for a tablespoon, and I said, "That's fine. That's
Yeah.
honestly gonna be okay,
Yeah.
given how little I'm gonna have of sugar
Right?
for the rest of the day." So, it's been really nice to be able to say things like, "Yeah, it's fine.
Next to
I'll
it.
make it work, like, I'll figure it out." Whereas before when traveling, I felt I was way more restricted, and that's
Mhm.
what so, okay, the other thing was questions, 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 but that's what someone said, "Oh my god, like, eating and all of this must take up all of your time. You must think about it all the time." And I said, "Actually, no. I
In the
thought about it."
beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, I said, "The first year, all I did was mentally add everything up and track and think." I said, "Now that I'm, like, 2 years post-op, no, I'm pretty, like, relaxed about it because I can almost do it in my sleep. Like, I can look at a menu and just know what I can have. I can look at a meal and just kinda know and eyeball it. I can do things like kinda quickly in my mind go, 'I think it's okay for you to have a little splash of that that
Yeah.
syrup. And I got him okay, I did get anal and I took a little measuring spoon out to make sure I did just a tablespoon, but, like, it's little things like that where I'm like, "No, I know how to balance this in my day now." Whereas before, I'd be like, "13, I try to stay to 10 and oh, man." But now I'm like, 13, that's fine. I'm not having another coffee today. I'm probably not gonna have much other sugar today. I'll balance it and it's fine.
Right.
It's like you're a ninja. You can now do it subconsciously. Like you're now you still need to watch your calories because nobody can do that well as
No,
humans we
yeah.
really underestimate. But there's some cool superpower now that I have where I can balance my day way more effectively than I could before.
I'm just stressed
Um,
that before,
exactly, exactly. I'm not like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa."
right?
So, that was a kinda cool change. I don't think going forward I'll do a big road trip like this again. I say that, but, like, oh,
You're
I
gonna
don't know
message
if
me
I
in a
would.
few months and be like, "Guess where I'm going?"
I know. It's just hard because,
That
like,
episode, Hannah?
you can have a cooler and pack all the things you want, but it's also like it's human nature to be like, I don't wanna eat any of that stuff that I just spent hours
Yeah.
making, but also sandwiches do not hold up well
No,
on
they
a
don't.
6 to 8-hour drive day, and it's just easier in the moment to pull into a rest stop and have something, so, like, it would just be what would I do, but there were times at the cottage where my aunt was like, "Hey, listen, I made you roasted chicken, quinoa
Nice.
salad, balsamic dressing, like, I don't know what you can have, but I put it in the fridge at the cottage." And I made a literal, like, charcuterie plate. I had like,
Love
because we
it.
bought cheese, because 'cause I'm loving my cheese, and then
Yep.
I literally took the roasted chicken, like, because she cut it all up, I
Yeah.
just put a bunch there, and
Yep.
I took the little balsamic thing, and I sat and just ate cheese and
Yeah.
dipped chicken. And my friend's like, "The fuck you eating?" And I was like, "Roasted chicken and some cheese," and
Sounds
it was
great.
the best. It was the
It sounds
fucking
great.
best. It was so good.
It's simple.
Um,
But that
and
again,
so that's
it just goes to show the shift in mindset, right? Because now you can look at it and say, "Yeah, I can have a
yes.
little bit of that. I can have a little bit of that." And then put it away or walk away or stop at that point versus once you get the taste on your lips, having to polish off the entire whatever it may be is now you know that, "No, you know what? I can have that. I can fulfill that craving or that want with my 1 or 2 bites, and then I can call it a day, and I can walk away."
Exactly, and that's the thing, right? So, yeah, it's pretty good, to be able to feel that way. Now, I will say, hmm, one of the hard challenges of this is being rural. So, I think the difference would be if I was doing a big road trip, maybe through the US, which we used to do. We used to drive through the states way, way back in the day, back when the states was okay to drive through, to get to Nova Scotia because there's just more. There's more
Yeah,
restaurants, more towns, more stops. The really hard thing about this drive was basically after Ottawa because then
right.
it's like watch out for moose and a whole lot of nothing else. So it's not like I could stop at a restaurant or order something really quickly. Like I remember when we
Yeah,
got to New Brunswick and it was like a weekday. So this was weird, but we get into New Brunswick around 2 p.m. Because we're
yeah,
only driving 8 hours a day max because of the dogs. And I was like, I'm hungry. Like we need to
right,
eat something. And
right.
I'm looking for restaurants and there's no restaurants. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, right. We're in this little tiny itty bitty
Where
town in New Brunswick. There's a pizza place. And I was like, I can't do pizza. Like pizza does not sit well in my stomach. So we're looking and looking, and I'm realizing there's fucking
is
nowhere to go. There's a grocery store open. And I was like, I
perfect.
don't have a kitchen. I don't have an oven. I don't have
Yep,
fuck all. And I wanted something hot, but I couldn't. So we went to the grocery store, which was the tiniest grocery store. And I was like,
love
oh,
open the door
this
to your
is going to be a
family.
long fucking trip if this is all that's available. Those like prepackaged sandwiches, which like chicken salad sandwiches are dope as fuck. Don't get me wrong. But like nothing substantial or healthy available. My choices were
Very limited.
very fucking limited. And I was like, okay, well, I can't live on goldfish and like gas station roast beef sandwich. Not good. But we didn't know that. Like I
Right,
didn't know that nothing would be open in New Brunswick or that would be so
right.
far removed. And that's like my fault. I had to pick a dog friendly hotel and we were in a place called Plaster Rock, New Brunswick, which is fucking stunning and beautiful. But it
The
wasn't like
logistics.
a tourist destination where I had somewhere to eat. And then we got into Nova Scotia and again we got in around 3 p.m. and I fucking forgot, even though I'm born and raised there is no grocery store in Barney's River, none, and I should have fucking stopped on the way in, but I didn't because I just wanted to get there.
Yeah,
So, I forgot too that I'm gonna get to Barney's River and have no restaurant, no delivery, no food,
no,
nothing, and the fridge had eggs and yogurt, and,
Yeah,
like, didn't really want eggs and yogurt
yeah,
for dinner, so that, I think, is the hard thing about my road trip is,
yeah,
especially going rural, it really makes it hard, and there's very little you're gonna be able to pack in advance
yeah,
that isn't gonna just be powdered protein or some Built bars, like,
yeah,
and I started to crave, like, routine and
for
being at
sure.
home and being able
The
to
normal
make
thing.
things, and
Yep.
yeah, so that was a challenge. That's why I say, like, I don't know if I really wanna do it again. I'd have to maybe plan a little bit better or go into I think I went into it a bit too naive. I think
Or
I'd
maybe
have
it's
to
like a road trip to a different location, right? I think a
I
lot of
could
it
pick
is
better.
the
Yeah,
location, right? But if you were going, let's say you're going, I don't know, somewhere out west or just to a different area, maybe not as rural, it would then obviously, yeah, it would be easier to know that you have the resources you need easily accessible at hand when you need them. But yeah,
exactly.
when you're in a rural location, like you need it becomes difficult, and that's tough.
That's what made it hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, that's my life up here.
So that's the only hesitation.
I get
Outside of that, we're all good. Um,
yeah, you
yeah,
can live off Built Bars and Premier Protein on a
and
road.
I think there was just a lot of it as well where it was like, "Oh, um, I'm probably just" yeah, I'm probably just a little over anxious about not
For
having eaten, like,
sure.
I think I was fine and like,
Yeah.
nothing was gonna happen. Um,
It's
but
a different experience,
yeah,
right?
and yeah, you wanna be strong and have fun and enjoy your vacation, but, like, yeah, I think just a little bit more planning on my end on a road trip is different. I think flying is a bit easier because the travel day is less tiring, so
Yep.
I think that's the other thing is, like, it was a bit tiring, and then you're like, "Oh, you're a bariatric patient, you don't just get to sit down, like, you have to go grocery shopping and you gotta figure it out," and so, it was good though. Overall, it was good. It opened my eyes to what road trips look like now, how to better prepare for them. Yeah, but overall, vacation was different in a good way.
Good,
Um,
good.
Still lots of questions about surgery, and I love answering them, so I never mind. And my family, I think, feels guilty, and I'm like, don't feel guilty. I
No,
love talking about this.
right?
So ask
I'd rather
away.
people ask and get the correct answer than not
Yeah.
ask and make assumptions that are incorrect.
Yes. And I think, boy, because it's been over 2 years because I went just after surgery. I think that's an initial shock for people because when I had went, I think I was at 60 pounds lost, or just like just coming up on 60 pounds lost, which is cool. But then what happened was because, it's been time and they've seen all
Mhm.
my photos, it's not as like, "Oh my god, look at you," but, like,
You know what to
I
expect,
got nice comments, but it wasn't like, "Oh, awesome. We don't have to awkwardly do this
right?
again and again and again." Like, people don't feel like they have to be like, "Oh my god, look how much
Love
weight you've lost, and
you.
you're so good." Yeah, like, there were comments about like, "Wow, you look great. You must feel so good." And I was like, I do feel really good. It's pretty great." But it was
Not
more
just
just about me and
right.
not me surgery, me.
Yeah.
There were still lots of surgery questions, but I think one of the coolest things I'll end on that I just was just so cool. We're having a family barbecue. It's what we like to do at the cottage, and so I went out and bought the hamburgers and the hot dogs, and, like, I'm a notorious hot dog person, like, I'll if there's a
I
hot dog, I'll
love
fucking
hot
eat the hot
dogs.
dog, and everybody else was gonna bring stuff, and I remember them being like, "What should we bring?" And I said, "Honestly, just bring whatever you'd like. There's Do whatever you want, guys. I'm not gonna tell you one way or the other. I've got the hot dogs and hamburgers, you do whatever you want." I said, "I'm also gonna get chips because like, the kids were
Yep.
coming and stuff, so and plus you can get, like, really good the Munchies brand chips, which
Nice.
were, like, fucking
The
great.
best.
So, everybody showed up with something, and, like, when you have a Nova Scotia barbecue, there's food for fucking days, so everybody showed up with something. My aunt made this rhubarb dessert, and it was just a shortbread base with, like, a rhubarb on top, and she made a comment about, like, "It's really low sugar," and I was like, "Oh, that's like, thank you, that's so sweet. I love rhubarb, like, I'll probably try some." And then my cousin showed up and she made a pasta salad,
That's
and, she was talking about like, "Oh, it's dill pickle," and I was like, "Well, fuck, like,
love oh,
I'm having some of that." And it had dill pickles and it had cheese and blah, 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 and she made a comment in passing going, "Oh, yeah, the dressing, for this dressing this time, I made it with Greek yogurt." And I remember thinking, "Oh, well, that's that's pretty cool. And then my other aunt shows up and she made potato salad and she said, "Hey, I made a vinaigrette for the potato
Nice.
salad and instead of a creamy one. So
Yep.
I used lemon and mint and a bunch,
Nice.
like basically like green goddess,
Yep.
but not made with mayo,
Right.
just kind of made with a little bit of olive oil." And she's like, "Cause that would be lighter." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And like I didn't realize,
You
like
didn't
it
put
kind
her
of
in?
kicked in after that, but I was like, "Oh, like
Mhm,
everybody intentionally
mhm.
made healthier dishes,
Isn't that
like
a fun?
low sugar, no mayo, Greek yogurt, and like they didn't they just did it, and I was like, "Oh," like, it was just the
Awesome.
honestly, it was like the sweetest, coolest feeling ever because everybody devoured the food and it was really delicious, and I was like, "Oh," like, I don't know, there's just like there's kind of a moment where you're like, "Oh, like,
Yeah.
that was for me, like, that was for
Trying to
me."
think of that and to put the effort in is awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, and I have to say that friggin' pasta salad and that potato salad, god damn, it was so good.
Mhm.
Um,
Makes people
so
rethink
good.
things, but it might also then have a non-implicated effect on them too, because now they're thinking outside the box and they're thinking about making things healthier, and like you said, everybody devoured it, so once people eat it and say, "Hey, this is actually pretty good," then
Mhm,
maybe that becomes a new norm for them, and it has kind of
mhm.
extended trickle down effect where you're kind of opening people's eyes to new experiences, new things, healthier options without
Yes,
necessarily shoving it, let's say you're not shoving it in their face because they're choosing to do this. So, it's
correct.
pros on both sides.
Exactly. So, it was just that was a really good feeling, it was like, "Oh, cool." Um,
That is
this vacation felt very freeing, I felt normal,
Yep.
um I felt really good. I had moments of self-doubt where I felt like I was fat and gaining a ton of weight, like 2 pounds, 2 fucking pounds. Fuck off.
Ooh.
Like, honestly, I can't even attribute that 2 pounds to this vacation either because like
No,
we said, it could be
so
anything,
many things. So
anything.
many things.
So, that was
I'd say
anyway.
that was a big a big win.
Yeah, but overall, I think what you and I are learning is that travel looks different and it's really not in a bad way. Travel
No.
looks different. It's going to continue to evolve as we go. I think it was eye-opening to see what flying versus
Mhm.
driving looks like and maybe didn't make the best decisions.
Yep.
But I learned and I think that's the
Yep.
important thing
And
is
I think
that I
there's
did
more
learn.
Yeah, there's more planning involved, but there was hands down more positives than negatives. Like, this was the first time where I got on a plane and I wasn't stressed out about sitting beside somebody and, like, encroaching on them and having to worry about them being like, "Oh, I have to sit beside that person." Uh,
Yep,
so that wasn't weighing on my mind. The fact that I could sit in the seat and have room, the fact that I didn't have to worry about a seatbelt extender, that I actually had, like, I had space in my seatbelt and I had extra seatbelt on the end and that I could get up and down
mhm.
easily, that I could go into the airplane bathroom and not have to, like,
Oh, the bathroom.
cram myself into the
Yeah,
like, so many things that now you don't have to worry about and aren't weighing you down, that you
yeah.
can enjoy the travel process and traveling in itself. So yeah, a little bit more planning, a little bit more work, but so many positives on the other side of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Which I like. So yeah, travel is different, but not bad. And there's always going to be new things to learn
Mm,
because we're not 10 years into this, we're 2 in a couple months. So, yeah, travel is different nowadays, but not bad. So I'm glad I did it. I
mhm,
survived.
right?
And I had a good time. And now I'm very much looking forward to not doing anything for a couple of weeks and just relaxing at home because vacations are great, but boy,
They're
they
exhausting.
tire you out. Yeah, they are quite exhausting. But no, it was good, and yours was good, and we have great pictures and great memories, and it's just yeah, it's kinda showing us, I don't know, what life is gonna be like going forward, which is kinda cool.
Yeah, so many more opportunities than what were there before, which is really
So many
it
more, so
opens
many more.
so many doors are open, so many opportunities are open, and so many chances for awesome memories that would not have been an option before. So
Right?
stay tuned because I'm sure there will be more travel stories in the future.
There will, because now the world is open to us and we plan to explore it as much as possible.
Love it. I'm ready. Let's
Me
book.
too. We need to do a bariatric trip. Maybe we should do like a camping trip, and actually that's what we should do. You, me, and Cass. I'm just gonna put it out in the universe now on the podcast. We should do an episode from a campground. I think it would be really fun. We'll call it the bariatric camping trip,
Done.
and we'll talk about how we cook meals over the fire and camp, and we'll do a whole episode from a
I'm
campsite.
down. I'm down.
It's gonna be fun. And then maybe we'll do a hosted camping trip one day
There you
for
go.
people who are local and nearby. So,
Love it.
thanks everybody for coming back and listening. We're so fucking happy to be back. We've missed you all so much. Congratulations to everyone who's had surgery or whose surgery is about to happen or who just had it. Good luck and keep us updated on how that goes. We will be back next week with another episode. We are not going to tell you about the episode just yet. We'll let you know on social what it's about. But like always, send us your topics, themes, questions, anything you want to see on social. Now that we're back and recharged and rested, we're going to be on there a little bit more. Um, and just big thanks, Steph, for joining me again for another episode of the podcast.
Anytime. Stay tuned. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.